does our spine connect to our health and well-being, which is actually the topic that you have prepared for us?
Health is our health and well-being is dependent on four elements. The first element, which I will tell you, is about oxygen. So what happens is we have very stressful living, right? Nowadays, like we have stressful lives. We run. We have to go here, there. We multitask, and we forget to breathe. We forget to breathe deeply from our abdomen, right? And so we only do shallow breathing, which is from our chest. As a result, because of the shallow breathing, we have lack of oxygen in the body. And then the lack of oxygen relates to degeneration, fatigue, weakness, increase of blood pressure, and organ dysfunction. So you're just thinking now, how is this going to happen, right? How does the oxygen actually help our spine? So when we in between our vertebrae, we have discs. These discs actually need oxygen to function and to keep their height. If they don't get oxygen, they degenerate and become smaller. As they become smaller, our two vertebrae become fixed or subluxated or moved, or that is when we start having the pain in our body. Also, our muscles need oxygen, right? Because in order for them to breathe, they need oxygen. And then when they don't get oxygen, they become so tight. That's when we have, oh, my shoulders paining, or my back's paining, or my arms paining. And also lack of oxygen, mainly lack of oxygen, triggers inflammation in the body. So we all have a certain degree of inflammation by, stretching or overexerting. And by not having enough oxygen, the inflammation gets more in the body. And that's when we actually have tremendous pain.
To explain this point, I will share one case study. And since Brenda brought up the oxygen topic, let me share a case study about a client having asthma. So this client, she tragically lost her son in an accident, and that was so shocking. And when she received this shocking news, for a moment she stopped breathing. And this episode, this trauma and shock actually created asthma in her body. She suffered from asthma for 15 years. When she met us, obviously we definitely worked on her lungs, but we also checked her spine. And the T1 spine, which is the thoracic spine, the mid spine, we found it was choked with emotions like, grief, unhappiness, feeling defeated, anger, bitterness. These were the emotions that were stuck in her spine. So the moment we started healing her spine, specifically T1 vertebra, the asthmatic symptoms started disappearing. Where she was having puffs 5 times a day, it reversed to once in 5 times, only on working on the vertebra. So if you are interested in on this topic, tomorrow on our talk, we have one more talk coming tomorrow evening. We will be talking more about emotions, spine, and organ connection.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a biggie, Brenda and Charu. The emotions, we have heard that it all starts with the emotions. We have heard that, but it will be actually great to listen to such examples and make the connections and then work in healing these things. So, Brenda and Charu, what next? You mentioned about oxygen. What else is there? You mentioned there are key elements which takes care of this. So what's next?
So we also have water. We all need water, as you know, we all need water to survive. We drink a certain amount of water. But again, we get so busy, we forget to drink water. Like we all know we should drink 8 plus or 10 plus glasses of water. But as we get busy, we take less water. And 70 to 80% of our body is actually made of water. And if the body is lacking water, the kidneys get strained. And the kidneys result in, again, your body results in fatigue, weakness. Obviously, the obvious part is dehydration. Again, the discs again. So we're talking about the discs between the vertebrae again. And this also needs water because they, as you said, right, you introduced in the beginning, absorbers, shock absorbers. So these also help us to keep our shock absorbers good. So if we fall, if we dash against something, they don't crack and shatter our vertebrae. They actually keep our vertebrae calm. Also, again, lack of water creates muscle spasms. Whenever we go to the gym, if you get a muscle cramp while working out, immediately what we do, we drink water because we already know we should be drinking water, right? Then also stiffness in the muscles. And again, the digestive tract doesn't receive the nutrients by way of water.
So to explain the water element, I want to tell about a client who developed urinary tract infection. And it was very acute. She complained of a lot of discomfort and burning. So obviously we worked intensively on her infection using our method, but we also worked on her L3 and L4, which is lower back vertebrae. So when we worked on that, we found 3 primary emotions that were stuck in her L3, L4, and they were conflict programs, anger, and pain and betrayal. So the moment we did her healing, she felt immediate relief in her discomfort. So later on, we shared the session details and we told about these emotions also to the client. And then she laughed. This was very interesting. She laughed. Then she told me that there was some 2 days back, there was some episode in the house where she had some mother-in-law issues. And these were her exact emotions where she felt conflicted with mother-in-law. She felt betrayed and pained by mother-in-law. So these were the exact emotions what she felt. So this is a good learning for all of us, because our thoughts shape up our reality and not the mother-in-law. So
Absolutely, Brenda and Charu. This is so much fun. This is so interesting. I want to invite everybody. Till now, if you have any questions, let us know on the Telegram group. We would love to have your questions and then delve deeper into this. So, for now, we have covered oxygen and water. So, what's next, Brenda and Charu?
What would you think?
Sleep?
Yeah, quite obviously. Yeah, so again, it all goes down to our stressful, busy living life, which is the now that we do. We overthink, we run things out in our mind, we have lack of sleep, we work all night, we sleep 11, 12, we watch TV, the TV is in our bedroom. As a result, the body doesn't get to rest and rejuvenate. So in the night, what happens is our body really needs to rest and rejuvenate. But if we are overthinking, like we have these receptor cells, and what these receptor cells do, that they actually do their work of clearing the body of toxins, repairing nutrients, whatever. But if the mind is overthinking, then all the receptor cells have to go and feed whatever you're doing, either watching TV, so your eyes, your brain, your hearing, everything. So then they don't do the job that they have to do. And when they don't do their job that they have to do, lack of sleep leads to muscle tensions, your pain, you have more pain because you're fatigued, your body's delayed, the body's ability to heal gets delayed. Also, sleep increases inflammation in the body because obviously the cells haven't done their job. The bone density goes down. And obviously the sleep creates obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular, and other things which all impact the spine and the spine flow.
So for sleep, we have always seen, like, we get a lot of clients who suffer from insomnia. This is a very common disorder these days. People complain that they are tossing and turning the whole night, they're unable to sleep, even when they really desire to sleep. So we have always seen that working on the cervical spine, which is the topmost spine, always brings the body into balance, and people start seeing changes in their sleep patterns. And from our experience, we can tell you that fear and confusion, these are the two emotions that get stuck in the topmost part of your spine, and they are the culprits in creating sleep disorders. So working on again on spine can elevate these type of disorders as well.
It's amazing. I want to tell everybody that how do Brenda and Charu know this? Which emotion is in which vertebra and what's happening? This is a very detailed, researched work which you all are going to get to experience and learn as well. More coming up, lots of action lined up. Brenda and Charu, let me prepare you. A lot of questions are ready for us. But I think you have one more element left. So
Yeah.
shall we cover that and then come back to the
Yes,
questions?
we'll cover
All
that.
right.
That will settle through. Yeah.
Yes.
So the next one is, I guess, the obvious is food, because we need food for nourishment. But with so many choices of junk food and rich food and all of that, we start overeating. Either we start overeating because there was too many choices, or we undereat because now there's also these fad diets of this, that, and so what happens is eat too much food leads to weight gain, which then puts stress on the spine, which then leads to osteoarthritis, increased back pain. Imbalanced diet leads to us not having calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, which in turn weakens the bones and increases the risk of osteoarthritis. And then also weak bones are prone to injuries. And again, a diet high in rich processed food also leads to inflammation in the body, and then inflammation leads to degeneration. So that's basically a bit of information about food as well.
So here I want to talk about ulcerative colitis. It's for those who don't know about ulcerative colitis, it's a digestive disorder where sometimes the client is either constipated or they pass stool multiple times with mucus and stuff in their stool. So this is a case study about a young child. He was just 8 years old and he was diagnosed with the ulcerative colitis. He was going through a lot of medication and a strict diet. So basically, he was not eating what kids of his age would generally eat. So no fun things for him. And then his mother also told us that he's very frightened to go to school or even to go out to play with kids because suddenly he would have urge to pass stool, and that created a lot of stress in him. Also, he had a lot of intestinal gases, smelly gases that also created a lot of discomfort for him. So he was pretty frightened, and in spite of medication and diet control, he didn't see much. Mother didn't see much results. So we worked on the digestive organs, but when we checked his spine, we found a lot of dark entities that were stuck in his lower back. And so we worked on specifically L1 spine, and we cleared dark entities. And the mother told us that the digestion was much better and the child was much happier after this type of clearance. So we have a call on 12th. I want to remind to all the audience, we have a call on 12th where we will actually talk more about how dark entities impact your spine. So do come for the call and we'll share some valuable insight on that day.
Invaluable, Charu. So, everyone, I want to ask Brenda and Charu. So, this sounds so simple. We all have it for free: food, air, water, sleep. So, are you saying that, chalo, I make these four a priority now and I start doing all of them properly in time? So, are all the issues that I'm facing, touch wood, all the issues anybody is facing, physical, mental, emotional, are you saying they are going to get resolved if we fix these four elements?
So, friends, stressful living is nowadays part and parcel of our life. And we have to bring to your we did bring the importance of breathing. No need of shallow breathing. Pay importance to deep breathing, take enough water, eat healthy, sleep enough. We all know these things, but there are certain things that are not in our control. Like, for example, if you buy a luxury car, you have to take it out and there will be a lot of traffic. The roads will be bumpy. So what do? You cannot control the traffic. You cannot repair the roads if they are bumpy. So all you do is you send your car time to time for servicing so that it is well maintained. So in the same way, what we can tell you is that you have to keep your spine in good shape. And that is like a good choice, healthy choice, if you keep your spine in good shape. And if you're thinking, how do we do that? So basically, all you have to do is, like, you have to clear the old damages that are stored in your organs and body and spine, along with the spine. Like, for instance, there might be a situation in your life where you're very angry. So that anger might create some stress in your liver. But now the situation has changed and your life is very peaceful and happy. But that doesn't mean that the liver will still continue giving you stressful signals, because what has happened, only changing the situation will not change the organ, because previously there was some negative programming that has set in your cellular memory of the liver. So the changing the situation doesn't change, and that is why, in spite of the situation becoming better, people continue to suffer with an issue. So for that purpose, you need to actually deliberately delete that negative programming. And so no need to stress out. There is a way out. Our B&C Miracle Method does that beautifully to bring the body to clear all these negative programming, and actually to bring it goes one step forward. It clears the energy of degeneration and actually brings your body to a state of regeneration. So yeah.
Actually, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I actually want to tell you about my own story. You're just talking about this maintenance, and it just reminded me about my own story. So about 34 years ago, when I had my son, at that time when I gave birth to him, after 4 months of giving birth to him, my spine went very crooked. And actually, I was like literally I was on my left side. I was walking that crooked. And that time I was in India. So at that time, I don't know if they were doing like x-rays and all. So all they did was I went to one place where they did traction and they pulled my spine out and they tractioned it and I was fine. And then I never faced any problem after that. About like beginning of this month, I actually had a very bad backache. And actually then they just did an x-ray. And then what they found was that my L4 and my L5 have got some issue, which was like from a birth defect. But all this time, because I have been maintaining, as Charu has been saying, the maintenance work, don't actually have a problem with my back. And it's just like a dull ache at the back. But it's like, you think you've stressed yourself out or something. So that is what it is like today. I'm in a condition to say that I have an issue with my back, which I just came to know from x-rays today after 34 years of what's in my back. But the thing is, what happens is that we forget to look after our back and we don't have knowledge of our back. So all of these things get, integrated into our back. And then the L4 and the L5 keeps the emotions of fatigue in the body. So if they are not proper, the L4 and L5 create a lot of fatigue. So usually I get very fatigued in my day. Like I get up and I need to sleep a little bit more than normal, or I'm a little more fatigued. But then today I came to, like now this month I came to know, like, oh, this is the reason of that. But it is interesting that, so much information our spine can give us. And of course, the importance of maintaining it.
Mind blowing. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second, Brenda. You said 34 years ago you gave birth to your son. I started calculating, my God, how old are you? No, you don't need to tell us, but thank you for sharing that. So basically, to sum it up, it's like whatever is done is done. This is like a repair, and it's not only a repair, but it also preventive, so that nothing worse or nothing severe happens later on. And it's not just for the spine, As you mentioned, till now, we are not even halfway into the call, and you've already mentioned so many health concerns.